I'm pissed. A town hall erupts in anger at Republican lawmaker. All right, let's go ahead and see where this takes us, guys. This is a suggestion via a channel member. Let's do it.
GOP Senator Chuck Grassley faced questions from constituents at a town hall in Fort Madison, Iowa, over the Trump administration mistakenly deporting a Maryland man to a notorious Salvadorian mega prison.
Are you going to bring that guy back from El Salvador? Yeah. Why not?
Well, because that's not a power of Congress.
Supreme Court said to bring him back.
Okay, go get him.
And the president isn't upholding the Constitution.
He's defying the
You're on the
Constitution.
Judiciary Committee.
Trump don't care.
Mine too. Or El Salvador is an independent country. The president
Speak up, please. We can't hear you.
the president of that country is not subject to our U.S. Supreme Court.
Not at all. He's not.
I'm pissed.
We would like to know what you, as the people, the Congress, who are supposed to rein in this dictator, what are you going to do about it? These people have been sentenced to life imprisonment in a foreign country with no due process.
Are they Americans? Like, are they here legally? I mean, you're asking for a lot of, leeway in this scenario, but if the people that you're referring to, now listen, I get it. That absolutely was crazy because he shouldn't have probably been deported, specifically at that time during that specific raid. I get that. He was most likely collateral, right? Or his name started popping up on some type of MS-13 watch list. And if that's the case, then this is why he is gone, right? But all right.
Our government cannot do anything.
The president of El Salvador has already stated that he's not going to return
Why
him.
won't you do your job, Senator?
Yeah.
Tempers flared at Republican town halls across the country on Tuesday, a sign of growing anger, at least among some Americans, with President Trump's policies.
But even in the face of testy constituents, those lawmakers continue to show loyalty to the president. In suburban Atlanta, disruptions by protesters at an event for Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene led police to arrest 3 people. Now, instead of answering questions face-to-face, Greene required that they be submitted in writing ahead of time and mocked some of the critical ones she read out loud. Senator Chuck Grassley faced his own crowd of frustrated voters in Iowa and was repeatedly urged to stand up to President Trump.
Are you going to bring that guy back from El Salvador? Are you? Why not?
Well, because that's not a power of Congress.
Supreme Court said to bring him back.
We would like
Okay.
to know what you, as the people, the Congress, who are supposed to rein in this dictator,
Are they playing this back?
what are you going to do about it? These people have been sentenced to life imprisonment in a foreign country
Okay.
with no due process. Our government cannot do anything.
With no due process. Again, you're referring to non-Americans. They do not adhere to our laws because they are not American citizens, right? I mean, they don't really care about our laws. If they did, then they wouldn't have broken into the country, if that's the case here. Now, I do not know the entire story of that guy. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he's not one of the many millions, guys, right? But that still doesn't change my opinion here. If he is here specifically under the guise, let's say, of asylum, and he actually qualifies for asylum, meaning that his country is, his literal country is persecuting him in some manner, right? Because of who he is. If that's the case here, then I fully understand that we should be fighting for him. But if this is a person who walked through the southern border while it was open, I'm not. I am under no circumstance going to give you any pity here, guys. I'm sorry, bro. I can't mentally.
We're joined now by CNN political commentator and Democratic strategist Paul Begala, as well as former governor of Arkansas Republican Asa Hutchinson. It's been a while since we've had the two of you back on, so thank you for joining us. It's going to be an interesting conversation. As always, Governor Hutchinson, let me start with you, because what we saw there with Senator Grassley was not on the Upper West Side of Manhattan or in Washington, D.C., in the suburbs, anywhere close to there. This was in Iowa. And yet you're hearing some constituents, not necessarily.
It doesn't matter where you are specifically, not in this context. All you really need to do is basically tell the literal woke mob, let's say the ones who watch CNN on a regular basis exclusively, tell them, hey, listen, there's going to be a Republican speaking here. Let's all link up here. That's basically what this is. Okay, trust me, the people that are speaking the loudest in those rooms, we're not Trump's voters, bro. All right. So you saying that, I'm going to get what you're trying to say here, but it's just not valid. Because the deck is stacked in this context.
Necessarily supporting these migrants themselves, but supporting the rule of law and quoting that one voter saying, why aren't you standing up in the face of how he described the president to be a dictator? How do you react to that?
Well, my reaction to it is that the opposition, those that on the left, are going to be the most vocal at those town hall meetings. And I think that's what you saw there with Senator Grassley.
Exactly.
I've been in Iowa. It is a very divided state in many ways. You're going to hear from both sides. But the overarching message that I think the senators are getting is you need to exercise the power of the legislative branch and just not roll over for the president. So
absolutely, that's valid also.
Is being conveyed not just by those on the left, by those on the right as well. And I think that's the expectation, that there will be some growing independence from those on the Republican side in Congress as you see Trump become more visceral in his attacks and disregard for the law.
Paul, let me bring you in, because we heard one, as Bianna was just touching on there, one voter essentially describe President Trump as a dictator. And Asa was just saying that a lot of people are saying, listen, we can't all just roll over for the president. There has to be people in Congress who stand up to him. What do Republicans in Congress risk, Paul, by standing up to Donald Trump?
A lot, actually.
Well, they
censure
Mr. Trump, who in the Republican base is, of course, very powerful.
Right.
He also now,
That's
President
valid.
Trump is allied with the richest man in the whole wide world. But they risk more by not standing up. Look at what happened in Wisconsin. They had a Supreme Court race, a state that Mr. Trump won very narrowly by about a point. The liberal there won by over 10 points, even though Elon Musk spent millions of dollars of his own money in support of the conservative. The Musk money, the Trump endorsement actually hurt the conservative, didn't help. And I was watching that clip you had, that town hall. Asa ran for president, spent a lot of time in Iowa. I have to say our country and his party would have been a lot better off if he'd have won. But Lee County, where that town hall was, it's in the southeast tip of Iowa for our international viewers. It's right on the Mississippi River. It's beautiful country, just beautiful. My old boss and Asa's fellow Arkansan, Bill Clinton, won that county by 30 points. Guess what? Donald Trump just won it by 30 points. It is exactly one of those fulcrum places where American politics has been turning. And so if a legend like Chuck Grassley, who has been in the Senate for 44 years, if he's catching hell in Lee County, Iowa, that is a terrible sign for those Republicans.
Can I stick with you, Paul? Because as we know,
That's actually extremely valid. Like, here's the thing. I definitely would not say that it's a good idea to just completely take what, someone is saying specifically. The Republican Party has been the Republican Party pretty much way before Trump. Let's just start here. But there are definitely, like, as of right now, the Republican Party is basically just Trump. For the most part, right? It's hard to say, hey, listen, I'm not someone who's a super fan of Trump, but I don't like the Democrats. That's basically my story. I just don't like any of this, right? I mean, I hear all of it, right? It just seems to all be the same thing. It's just being said differently and generally more palatable for, people that are excessively, overly emotional. That's basically what they're saying. The same thing that Fox News says, but slightly different, basically, right? But I just know absolutely I'm not a super fan of the Democrat Party. Not any of the things that they push. It has nothing to do with me or my family. And so it's just like, I'm not going to partake in your nonsense here. Now, there are definitely going to be a lot of people probably like me who are, for the most part, listen, everyone's aware of Trump. Absolutely. Right. But the reality of the situation is that I'd rather back a Republican, period, than ever back a Democrat. That's basically how that works here with me, kind of, at least for right now. I'm thinking, at times in our history, things were obviously different, but now, no, the Democrat Party is too far. You guys went over there. I don't even know where you are anymore, bro. You guys are going crazy over there. What are you guys even talking about? Right? And that's kind of where I'm at. And I'm sure there are a lot of other people like this. People voted for the party, not specifically Trump. And there are people who absolutely hate Trump that are still Republicans and voted for him because, again, they hate the Democrat Party equally, openly, right? In your face. They don't like him. Right? So the people who are, as the guy on the far right here said, catching hell, basically, for Trump's endorsement, I can imagine. Because there are Republicans who don't like Trump at all. Like, they're only voting Republicans because they're towing the party line, basically, guys. Right? I think they're called rhinos, yeah?
Noted the issue at hand in that town hall was the treatment of Abreu Garcia and the fact that this is an administration that is defiant, despite however vaguely they are wanting to interpret what the Supreme Court said. They are defiant not to bring him back to the United States.
Okay.
But this is clearly a battle that President Trump prefers to have and would like to have. And I'm wondering if you think, as we saw Senator Van Hollen actually travel to El Salvador. I don't know what he'll be able to accomplish there, but he's a constituent of his, so that is why he is going. Do you think that they're falling into a trap by going into this battle with the president? I'll quote you a line from Politico this morning, which said, the White House believes it has public opinion on its side, and that every time the Democrats or the judiciary or the media complain about the treatment of the deportees, they're walking deeper into a carefully set trap. What do you make of that argument?
I'm sorry to laugh. They don't do anything carefully in the Trump White House, okay? I mean, he won fair and square. I'm not an election denier. I'm a Democrat. But come on, they're not being careful about this. They took a man who was legally in America, who had no charges against him.
He was legally in America.
Which would be problematic. They put it...
Wait. You see, wait. Okay, hold on. He's illegal. He's a citizen? If he was a citizen, that obviously changes every single thing, right? I mean, you guys have sent me multiple videos on this topic here, and no one has ever said that he was a citizen. But keep this in mind. We're going to go ahead and verify that exclusively, immediately.
Put him in one of these supermax prisons run by some eccentric leader in El Salvador? Come on. So no, I'm not worried about that. And actually at that town hall, to come back to that, they not only were criticizing their beloved Senator Grassley about the status of this one guy who'd been deported and incarcerated. They were hammering him about tariffs, which are killing our farmers, or can, about veterans, about Social Security, about Medicare and Medicaid. In other words, it's a whole cluster of things. But I think the Trump people are selling Americans short if they believe that we don't care about the rule of law. That we were founded on the notion that we don't want a king and a tyrant. And Mr. Trump, in the eyes of many, and not just Democrats, a lot of...
Yeah, it's basically the eyes of Democrats. Basically, it's basically in the eyes of Democrats. But all right, bro.
Independence has gone way too far.
Asa, since Paul brought up tariffs, I want to pose that question to you, a question about tariffs. The thing about tariffs is that not only is there so much confusion, but it changes by the day. From one day to the next, you have no...
Okay, so you're saying that he's legally here, but he's a citizen of El Salvador. They're saying that he was illegally deported. Okay, all right. All right, I'm just trying to get as much information as humanly possible here so I can grasp it here. But if he's a citizen of El Salvador, what do you mean by was he a legal resident?
No idea which tariffs are going to be on hold and which tariffs are going to be implemented. In fact, there was a Bloomberg reporter who essentially said that he typed into ChatGPT, explained Donald Trump's tariff strategy to me, and what ChatGPT gave him was essentially nonsense. It just sounded like nonsense in terms of what it looked like when he read it out. So just walk us through how all of this is actually going to affect Republicans when it comes to the midterms. You're thinking about the possibility of a recession.
Okay, hold on here, guys. Sorry. Garcia has acknowledged that entering into the United States illegally in 2012. He entered into the United States illegally in 2012. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Bro, are they just lying? Like they're just saying things to make things sound better for their base or something, guys. The source is the BBC here, guys. Right? He acknowledged in court documents that he entered illegally into the United States of America in 2012. He's a citizen of El Salvador, so he's illegal. What do you mean by he's here legally? Guys, okay, no, I don't want to watch this anymore. No. Okay. Now listen, based off the overall point of the video itself, based off of the conversation that was basically being had, right? It's interesting because if someone is being deported because they have ties to some type of criminal organization, okay, but they're not here in a legal manner. Like almost my entire life, I always thought that if you were like some type of legal resident or like a green card holder on your path to citizenship, if you were to commit any type of crime or be involved in any type of criminality, or your name pops up in some type of document, you were immediately sent away, right? I mean, you're trying to make me feel a certain way for someone who's associated with MS-13, right? I can't, and then openly admits within court documents in 2012 that he came into the country illegally. What's this about, bro? And by the way, the El Salvadorian president, in which this guy here is a citizen in El Salvador, says he's not letting him go. Period. So the United States of America. So you base, and you know that. Okay, you already know this information. So when you start bringing charges against the White House and Donald Trump, you just want him to be in contempt. So you can have like some, I don't know, like some gigantic letterheads posted all over the internet, so people will click on it. It seems you want him to be in contempt because you know that he can't do anything about it. And by the way, he was here illegally. So why are we bringing him back to deport him again? Like if I was like, listen, this is what I would do. I'd bring him back, get the plane. Hey, listen, he's back here, and then deport him immediately. If that was the case, but again, don't make me president. Under any circumstance, I'm a wild one. All right, I'll fix everything. I will. It'll be terrible. You will never get the White House back. It'll be mine. Don't make me president. All right, but all right. Listen, guys. You guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. This one here it's interesting, guys. Sometimes it's like watching, I don't know, like just false information just be spread consistently for the sole purpose of like coddling people, bro. And this is kind of my issue, with, let's say, the Democrat Party. This embodies it almost exactly. But all right, listen, guys, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. Let me know what you guys think, all right?